That's Doc Pete. That's my good buddy. God, I love that man. He's just absolute gold, isn't he? That's a message that more people need to hear, frankly. More people need to get that message from Doc Pete. All right, I've got a great guest coming up next. We're still going to wait out and hope to hear from some of the guys that are flying out over North Carolina right now. They called me a little bit ago and they were doing another run. Obviously, that takes precedence over coming on a live show, clearly. So God bless these people. But I'd like to welcome to the stage now my good friend Annie Marie Delgado. She is the president of Conservative Watch, and she is pounding the streets up and down the coast of Florida. She also is a Hurricane Helene survivor, but did not sustain as much damage as our friends to the west over in St. Pete and Tampa and so forth. Annie, good to see you.
Oh, Ann, it's always good to see you, my dear lady. And go Doc Pete. Yes.
I know he's a stud, isn't he?
He's amazing. Well, beside being a stud, his words were powerful, and we have to hear those words.
Yes, yes, we do. So we are really challenged right now, Annie. People are feeling really stressed. You know, they are feeling like the federal government has abandoned them. I know you and I spoke earlier, and you've been a critic of Ron DeSantis, so have I, but you gave him the props that he deserves for helping out others even outside the state of the Florida, sending our Florida National Guard into other parts of the region that were impacted by Helene. But what are you hearing from the people? Because you're all over the state of Florida. I mean, how are people feeling right now?
Well, and first and foremost, like I said, it's always so good to be with you, my dear girl. And you and I have been hard at this for a very long time together in so many different areas. And oh, geez, you've got my background of my boxes. See those boxes behind me? There's so much going on, and how the people are feeling. In answer to your question, truly are a bit disillusioned, discouraged when we see so many times the awful things that are happening to our nation, and
Mm-hmm.
certainly um, our state as well. But when we see the pain of our neighbors in our neighboring states, and we put our hands up and we get together, and there's so many. Now, I have been personally myself having to take care of my own property that I've had damage on, and etc. But that's nothing compared to these folks that have lost lives. And so I did give kudos out to Governor DeSantis, because he did send up the National Guard and others. But it's we the people that are doing it. It's we the people that have come from as far away as Miami and Palm Beach County and up to St. Lucie. All my buds up there in St. Lucie, and they've got trucks loaded with stuff, and they're going up. And there's folks that are in the middle. I have to give kudos to someone else right now, right in the middle, that only have a couple of weeks or so for their like. What are we on? We're 4 weeks away from this election.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a magnificent woman named Meg Weinberger in Palm Beach County running for the Florida House of Representatives. And she is extraordinary. And she is the kind of person that's been her whole life. I've known her for so many, many, many years. She's up there and took a truck, and her husband and all the folks that work on her farm. She left a skeleton crew. But there's so many people that have come together, and they're up there bringing the goods and necessities that are needed for these folks that have absolutely nothing and have no help from, quote unquote, our government.
What government? That's not our government,
Exactly.
Annie.
What government? What government? Okay.
Right.
Biden who? Where is he? MIA.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but this is what we're challenged with right now, and I think that the delicate dance we're doing right now, Annie, is really to try and teach the people that it's not up to Biden or Trump; it's up to
Right.
us.
It's up
And
to us. It's we the people.
it's we the people. It's always been up to us, and we became
Always
codependent
has
on
been.
a bureaucratic, monolithic tyrant. Essentially, we had all of our power delegated out to agencies, and that's not even constitutional. There is no delegation of authority out of the executive, legislative, or judicial branch. You're not supposed to create agencies to take over and then
Well, enough,
mandate us.
enough of that. And I mean it. Enough of that. I mean,
Yeah,
if people don't get that crap by now, then you're living under a rock.
yeah,
Okay?
yeah.
You're
I
living
mean,
under a rock.
we
And
how do we find the inspiration for people to want to start governing themselves accordingly at this point? Because we're about to go through something where people are going to have to take everything into their own hands. The people in North Carolina know it. The people out on the west coast of Florida know it.
We're already doing that.
Right?
We're already doing that. You're watching. Okay. See, the unfortunate part is that, of course, not one of these liberal media going from state to state to state to state to state, they won't cover it as we're going up. They covered some of the linemen for the electrical contractors coming down the highway and stuff. Okay. But they didn't cover all of we the people and the trucks and the trailers and people just pulling boats up there. They didn't cover any of that. They won't. Listen, it's up to us. And it's shows like yours and so many other good conservative patriots in this nation that are going to make the difference and show the truth. But in this time, right now that we're going through, you cannot bury your head. You cannot. If I get one more phone call from somebody telling me, well, maybe he shouldn't have said this, I'm going to slap you right upside your head. I'm sorry. I'm done with it. When all of the left and the horrible things that they're saying, and they're inciting an assassination against our president, Donald J. Trump. Okay? Enough. I really have had enough with this. And right now, the only thing that we need to do is get one huge message out to every single person that is in your audience that we can reach. And then everyone, please share and show. Share it far and wide. She brings a tremendous amount of information that is so vitally important to this nation, across this whole nation. And many like her, which are dear friends of mine, all of them. But this is important, okay? You need to make sure community by community. Oh, we heard, where's the first time we heard this community organizer crap came from? Yeah. Barack Obama. Okay.
That's right.
Well, let me tell you something. We need to be the community organizers. And we are. And we've been doing this. And every single person that can hear this message, I don't care where you live. I don't care if you live in the United States of America or if you live in Australia, because you should be doing the same thing in your country as well. You need to stand up and take back what our good Lord power gave us. The power of independent thought. No one controls your mind. You do. You make the choices in life to make. And if you don't stand up for your children, your grandchildren, your country, no matter what country it is, then we have a problem. Yeah. And so there's different ways to do this, of course. And I'm a bit of a tirade right now.
Well, so Annie, I mean, I was talking about it earlier with WeThePeople2.us, an organization that teaches common law. They teach how to write a notice, which is more effective than an email. They teach how to write an affidavit, which is a legal document, which becomes truth and fact when it's an unrebutted affidavit that you can now use to go into a federal court and get a summary judgment. So, this is the stuff that isn't even taught to lawyers. When you talk to lawyers and attorneys about this, they're like, what are you talking about? Because they're taught legal fiction, Annie. They're not taught common law. And I do believe that we have got to come back to that. We have got to restore the common law. We have to restore the republic. We have to restore and divest ourselves of the corporation that is sitting on top of every single state, on top of Washington, D.C., which includes their U.S. codes and rules and all that stuff. That is for them. It is not for us. It doesn't govern us. And so we have been dumbed down into thinking those rules, codes, and statutes govern us. They don't. They don't govern us. What governs us is our Constitution to protect us from an overarching tyrannical government. And I just don't think that message is getting through to the people. Are you starting to see it getting through to the people? Because I'm not sure I'm seeing that back reflected yet.
And let me assure you that your message is getting out far and wide. And I do, because you and I have gone back so long, and I'm so proud of all the work that you're doing, but you have focused on a mission here that is so vitally important because, and I'm going to be honest with you, sometimes in the beginning, I'm like, what is she talking about? And people are like, we don't get it either. I'm like, okay, let me go through it again. All right. It may take a time or two to understand. But as Americans, we must understand exactly what you are working on, have been working on, have brought forth. Pay attention, folks. This is so vitally important. We the people. It is we the people. This fake United States of America corporation. It's a corporation which does not, I mean, right now, as I said, Ann, there are so many people calling me, and you know very well, in so many different ways, in so many different parts of the country. But most important thing is this: what do we have? We have 5 weeks left to save our country.
Right.
Okay, 5 weeks. What can you do in 5 weeks? What can you do, America? Patriots, I'm speaking to you. What can you do in 5 weeks? You can absolutely make a difference by getting into your local community. Everything starts local. You don't have to think that, oh, I can send $25 or $45 anywhere. No, you don't have to do that. It's not about money. It's about putting your time into going into your local Republican organization, conservative organizations, okay, and teaming up with people, making the phone calls, knocking on doors. Now, knocking on doors could be for folks that are a little bit younger. Our seniors are doing a tremendous job, a fantastic job on making those phone calls. I send them lists every single day. They check them off. It's an easy thing to do. It's wonderful. We're doing our part. Get involved locally. Go on to conservativewatchusa.com at any point in time. But I can tell you, we have here in the state of Florida, Conservative Watch USA, in conjunction with the Scooter Haven Country Club, which is an amazing piece of property. Great story behind it. I think I told you about this, Ann, when this gentleman called me, and I thought he wanted to sell his property. He says it's beautiful. It's 70 acres. They've got cabins and stages and restaurants and all this stuff. And I looked at him and said, "Why do you want to sell this property?" He says, "Oh no, we don't want to sell it." Him and his wife are sitting there with me in the dining room. He says, "We want you to have a big Trump event here." I'm like, "Oh yeah, baby." So here we go.
So what do we got going on? Because you know what, right now, people are hurting. Food prices are out of control. We have war. We've got war breaking out in the Middle East right now, all over the place. Russia, actually, I want to show you this real quick, just because people need to have kind of a gut check. But this article just came out. Nuclear war coming? Question mark. Russian President Vladimir Putin announces new changes to Russia's nuclear doctrine. So we're getting the saber rattling over there, where Russia has now announced that their nuclear doctrine put forward by Putin is designed to discourage Ukraine allies and NATO from supporting direct attacks on Russia. And of course, the United States and the European Union both criticized these latest statements by Putin. They're saying it's irresponsible. But
United States,
basically, yeah, I'd call it the United States. That's the government. That's the federal corporation I just showed you on the screen. Russian government spokesman Dmitry Peskov informed reporters that changes in the document rolled out by September 25 serve as a warning signal to those countries about the consequences in case of their involvement in an attack on their country with various assets, not necessarily nuclear ones. So, I mean, again, the United States has provided. The United States, which is a federal corporation, the United States has provided Ukraine with assets that can long-range missiles that can reach Russia. And so Russia's just saying, hey, it doesn't matter if it's the U.S. or any NATO ally. It's a provocative maneuver. You attack us with one of those U.S. or NATO-made armaments, we can respond. And I don't say that that's an unfair thing to respond to say. I mean, frankly, if Russia was on our borders and they were providing, and say China was providing Russia missiles on our borders, and they started shooting them in there, I'd be going after China too. So I don't know. What do you think, Annie?
Well, as I said, all the more reason why we have to make sure that we get President Donald J. Trump back in office. The only way that we are going to survive this, the only way that we will ever recognize America as and be able to have a vision. Oh, let's talk word salad. Kamala, let's talk some word salad. The only real vision that Americans have is going back to before you and Biden ruined our country and
Right.
destroyed our economy and
So
destroyed.
Annie, if we get a Trump presidency, is he going to dissolve agencies? Is he going to, I mean, like something Betsy
Absolutely.
DeVos should have done? She should have nuked the Department of Education. We need to have
It's
General
all
Flynn in
coming.
there to round up the intelligence community, dissolve the FBI, the CIA. We need to literally bring all of that together
That's
into
all
one.
coming. And yes, the answer is yes, 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 and yes.
Okay, good.
Yes, yes,
I mean,
yes, and yes. No doubt.
I'm going to be Donald Trump's worst nightmare if that stuff doesn't start happening like day one, because
You already
I've
are.
had it.
Listen, there's many of us that have been at this end, and I know you have been right there by my side from the beginning, right by Trump's side. All of us, we're exhausted. Okay, there's a part of us that are exhausted, but there's this other part of me that I just give my hands up to the Lord and I say, thank you, Jesus, for giving me the strength each and every day to continue, because I have been attacked from every single angle that you can think of by, one would think, Democrats. Oh no, it's not Democrats. It's the cuckoo puffs.
It's usually the
cuckoo
Republicans.
Yeah. Republicans, exactly. It's the Lumas of the world. It's people that are just nuts. They don't go after Democrats, but they go after Republicans. Well, let me tell you something. You will never, ever, ever, ever. Those people that are doing this will not win. They will not go forward. They will be held responsible for what they are doing. And these rhinos, when you hear these reports from the MSNBCs of the world and CNNs of the world, and yet 3 more Republicans, former Republicans endorsed Harris. Yeah, who are these people? They're not former Republicans. They were never Republicans. Okay,
Yeah.
They were never Republicans. Like Liz Cheney's a Republican. Who are you kidding? Okay, but their day's coming. All of their day. Let me talk about real quick an incredible event that we got going on that is in the state of Florida. It's the only statewide event happening prior to the November 5th election for our dear President Donald J. Trump. And so all of our patriots from the Panhandle to the Keys and everywhere in between are coming together into Central Florida. All are invited. Now, it is do you have the flyer in?
Yep.
It is, there we go. It is the Trump 47 Bikers Parade. I've done this in 2016, 2020, 2022, and now. And we've had thousands of bikers. This one here is going to be the biggest ride of the year, as it says. Now, all wheels are welcome. And what that means that we are going to have, and what I've combined is all of our trucks, which, I've done many different parades with our trucks and our Jeeps and different things, but we're all coming together from across the whole state for this event. Motorcycles, trucks, RVs, Jeeps, cars, which we call cages. And it's going to be absolutely amazing. We have a lineup of great speakers, and there are 3 that are on the flyer because there's so much information. I couldn't put all the other speakers on there. There are many more. This is in Levy County, so that is the district for Congresswoman Kat Camrick. She will be speaking and at this event along with our First Sergeant, United States Marine William Bodette, which is an incredible man. You're going to definitely want to hear from this gentleman. And our beloved R.C. Pittman. He's the national founder for Boots on the Ground, Bikers for Trump. And he is leading all of the Panhandle, coming down from the whole Panhandle, Jacksonville, and across the meeting down. And I have another friend of mine that they have six of professional drone pilots. These professional drone pilots, their drones are 6 feet wide. They're not little drones, little thingies. No. and they're going to be droning the whole state as they come up from the south, as they come down from the north, as they come west into the middle of the state and east. And it's going to be amazing. We have an incredible amount of, we've got bands, we've got raffles. I have 2 coins from Donald Trump. One is gold and one is silver that I'm going to do a live auction on.
Okay.
And we have so many other, from hotel stays around the whole state. So it's going to be a huge event. We got bands. We have 3 different stages. Food, there's going to be plenty of food there. We have people that have donated because of the fact that we know right now a lot of people are hurting. So
yeah.
I want to give a great thank you to my dear friends and dear personal friends from Cheney Brothers, which always step up to the plate to help us. And so it's a totally free event. The whole event is free. No charge. Come on. Let's support President Trump. Let's absolutely show. And we will have a voter registration station there. Do you know we have 1.2 million veterans that aren't registered to vote in the state of Florida?
That's shocking to me. I can't believe it.
And we're going to make a change and a difference in that. We're going to make an indent in that.
Maybe we need to get Scott Pressler down here because he's also a good, we got 1.2 million. We need as many people registering people to vote. By the way, Annie, since I have you on the horn, there's a bunch of these nonprofit organizations that are registering people to vote. And when I looked into some of them are hardcore left-leaning organizations.
Exactly.
And I see them also collaborating really with what's going on with this illegal invasion that Mayorkas is orchestrating. So to me, the NGOs that are importing all these illegals are collaborating with some of these third-party voter registration nonprofits here in Florida to register these illegals. And that's why the SAVE program that the state is supposed to follow and clean the voter rolls based on the DMV, citizen, non-citizen driver's license holders with their own voter registration. They're not doing it because they want all these illegals in here. And those third parties are signing them up left and right.
Well, and I will say that, Conservative Watch USA, we are registered, third-party voter registered with the State Department in Florida. And so we have our own number and we register people, and keep track of this. Now, what I will tell you, and that's okay, I gave kudos to DeSantis earlier, but I got to say, we have
balls and strikes. We need to call balls and strikes. That's fair.
And I gave him one ball and here's your strike.
Yeah.
Is that we work so hard. We work so hard with another dear friend of ours, which you know very well, Roger Asami from Defend Florida. Mm-hmm. And we started from day one, and we have boots on the ground, people that have gone county by county by county, and we put together everything. We worked so hard on legislation to get it passed through the last legislative session. Nada. Mm-hmm. Nothing. These people, well, I shouldn't say these people, but call it a spade. Right. Cord Bird, our Secretary of State, which is in charge of the Division of Elections, ignored us, completely ignored us. Every single one of our organizations that we presented this ignored us. When we fought, we the people, we went county by county to the county commissioners and went in their face and said, if you don't get rid of the Dominion machines, we're not going to reelect you. And we have the power to recall you. That's how we got the Dominion machines out. But there's still 17 counties in the state of Florida out of the 67 counties. And ironically, DeSantis did nothing to help us. Nothing. And in our state legislature last session, we had some really good bills. We couldn't get any push. They killed it in committee. Didn't even get out of committee. So we have a problem. Ground control, the Major Tom here, Houston. We got a problem.
Yeah.
And it's right within.
It's right within. And again, we can strip a lot of this problem away if we just restore the integrity of the republic of each state, get rid of these public-private partnerships, and put the power back into the people's hands, where the people are cleaning their own voter rolls right in their own precincts in their own counties. To send it all the way to the state, to have them do nothing with it and goes to a black hole, yet their own initiative that they signed in 2012 says they have to do this yearly and send it back down to each of the 67 county supervisor of elections offices to have a quote clean voter roll. They're not doing it. Nobody's holding them accountable. So I say, why even have that program if you're not going to implement it? We need to,
Well, no, because exactly. And that's why I have a bit of a gripe with DeSantis on that, because he was MIA governor. He wasn't even there. MIA governor. Okay. He wasn't even there during this legislative session. We had an opportunity to make a difference. No. What prevailed? The Democrats and the rhinos. That prevailed. Where were you, Ron? Yeah, whatever.
All right, Annie. So I'm going to play. I want to get your comment on this. This is Hillary Clinton real quickly while I have you here, because you are a political juggernaut in of yourself. You've been around the block for over 30 plus years, maybe more, doing this.
No, I'm at 40 plus, honey child. I'm sorry.
30 plus. Well, this is the Hildebeest recently, and I want to get your comment on her statement right here.
You liken yourself to Cassandra, the Greek mythological figure who could see the future and the prophecies, but was never believed. Putting that Cassandra hat on for the moment, but we're listening. What is something you see happening in the near future that we should be taking more seriously?
Well, I do think that the press needs a consistent, the press that's not supporting Trump blatantly, very persistently, the press that's trying to be the press, be objective, be, reporting the facts. The press needs a consistent narrative about the danger that Trump poses. Because, people may still look at the danger and say, I don't care. It doesn't affect me. I'm going to vote for him for X, Y, or Z. But okay. But at least people need to be woken up and given the facts about what he has done, is saying, and would do. And I anticipate that, something will happen in October, as it always does. The Russians, as I said earlier, are very active in this election. We know the Iranians are active as well. Chinese uses TikTok, or they certainly did against Biden and for Trump. I think they're a little less pro Trump right now. So you look at where people get their information, and they get their information largely from social media. And so the campaign is doing the best job it can to combat both domestic and foreign false disinformation. But I anticipate there will be a full court press in October. The digital airwaves will be filled. And why does that matter? Because the press that is pro-Trump anyway, oftentimes stories are put on digitally that then are picked up by, let's say, at Fox and others. And then those stories are stories, so the mainstream press reports on them. And so that story then takes on a life of its own. There will be concerted efforts to distort and pervert Kamala Harris, who she is, what she stands for, what she's done. The crazy story about me running a child trafficking operation out of a basement of a pizzeria, don't laugh. It was a huge story. And it got one young man in North Carolina to get in his car with his, assault rifle and drive up to liberate these non-existent children and shoot up a pizzeria in Washington, D.C. This is dangerous stuff. It starts online, often on the dark web. It migrates. It's picked up by the pro-Trump media. It's then reported on by everybody else, which makes sure it has about 100% coverage. And people believe it. So I don't know what it's going to be, but it will be something, and we'll have to work very, very hard to make sure that it is exposed as the lie that it is.
Wow. So let's start and work backwards. She talked about Pizzagate. Wow. Okay. So
let's talk about projection.
She's putting out in the open. Meanwhile, P. Diddy is in the same Brooklyn federal detention center that Jake Lang is, a J6 political hostage that I just had on the show at the beginning of the 2:30 or so when he came in, something like that. And he admitted, yeah, P. Diddy's in there. So you're telling me one of their own, where she's pictured with P. Diddy, Her name is on the list of people, along with her husband, along with Michelle Obama, and Barack Obama, and many other Hollywood stars are involved in and there's a lawsuit right now. 50 some people have come forward in a class action, including children, going after P. Diddy. You're telling me that none of that's true? So all these people have decided to sue, and your name is a part of the list? Okay, Hillary. And then she's talking about this October surprise, and she's talking about the press needs to be singing the same narrative that Trump is dangerous. Where is that a free press, Hillary? Where does that conform to the First Amendment?
I mean, if you listen to what she said, though, Ann,
yeah.
If you listen to what she said, okay, it's the Trump media. There is no Trump media. The media alphabet, ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN, MSNBC, all of those, okay, 99% against Trump. And 100%, I'll say, because why take away a point? 99 of positive media coverage for Kamala.
Right.
Well, first of all, everything that she said is projection. And you have to understand the psychopath mind and the sociopath mind. And many people don't understand or have never been able to have an experience of what a sociopath mind looks like. She's a sociopath, but she's gone way beyond that, because the psychopath mind is the killer mind. She has no regard for life whatsoever, and it doesn't matter. What they do is to absolutely kill the target.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if the target is even, let's look at just recently, where, geez, you had a Democrat come out and say, hey, I've had enough of this crap. You guys got to, help me out here, Biden, because we have like such an illegal immigration problem.
Yeah, Eric Adams. And look what it got him.
Exactly. That's exactly where I'm going. Exactly. Yeah. And what did they do to little old Eric Adams?
Well, him.
You bad little Democrat. You bad little Democrat. We're going to kick your and we're going to take you out and take you down. And they will. And they will, because that guy spoke up against the machine.
Yep.
And the machine, I mean, again, unless you're living under a rock, and that's kind of funny because they're from Little Rock, Arkansas, the Clintons, okay, where they had and started. And, part of my family, 150 years of our land in Arkansas, everybody knows what they did and who they are, the Clintons. Okay, and along with Al Gore there and their buddies and all their marijuana and all this stuff, all this sex trafficking and all this. Oh, don't blame me. No, it's all projection. It's all projection. But the worst part about it is that just look at her. Just look at her. She still has that evil in her.
Yeah.
Conviction, the conviction of evil. And they're doing this to you, Eric Adams, bad boy.
Yeah.
And what they do to Robert F. Kennedy Jr. You didn't stay with us as a Democrat.
That's right.
We're going to keep you off the ballot. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. That man, we're not going to give you any security. We're going to make sure that, you get assassinated. Now, let's just talk about that part of it that she talked about. The dangerous talk.
Yeah, she's threatening us.
She said dangerous talk, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Every single one of those, and I don't call them journalists, those dirtbags on CNN, MSNBC, and the one that is most disgusting is that the one that used to be a Republican and him and his creepy wife. They live in Jupiter. I can't remember his name right now.
Used to be a Republican?
Yeah. Joe Scarborough. Is
Oh,
that?
yeah, Joe Scarborough and Mika.
And
Mika
his crazy wife. They live
Yeah.
down in Jupiter.
Yeah.
What a disgrace in these people.
Yeah.
Okay. And so all these folks, all of them, okay, they're not I don't call them journalists. That's not journalism. We don't have journalism on mainstream media anymore. We do in cable, Fox, Newsmax, and others. We have you, thank God, which speaks truth, steal news, steal truth. Absolutely. Yeah, this creep right there, that one.
Yeah.
And he used to be a Republican.
Yeah.
But,
He's a Republican.
He's not now and hasn't been. And then you got the Michael Steele of the world. The guy was the RNC chairman. How much money does it take to sell your soul? How much did they give you to sell your soul? Michael Steele, Joe Scarborough, all these idiots. Okay. At the end of the day, her words, what she said, which is vitally important, is the danger. There it is again. And we see it. We see it day after day, time after time. They all get the same memo. They all say the same word. Today's word is going to be Trump's the danger. Okay. Or whatever it might be. The sad part about it is that some people, because there are subliminal messages, just like right now, you're watching me on your screen, wherever you are in this country or in this world, okay? And you're listening to a message. It's not just me. It doesn't matter what you're watching, quite frankly. But what the Democrats do, and they have perfected this, is they use psychological warfare on the viewers with subliminal messages that literally brainwashes them.
That's right.
And that is so dangerous. That's where the dangerous is. And that's what they do. They project. They say, they're doing this. Meanwhile, they're the ones that are really doing it.
That's right,
Just
Annie.
like Nancy Pelosi, the smear. Let's not forget that. Okay, we create the narrative, we create this, and then we feed it to the media, and then the media reports on it, and then after that, everybody believes it. They put it out in front of us. They're telling us what they're doing.
That's right. That's right. Well, we're going to stop that, and we're going to come together. You've got an awesome event. It's coming up. You don't want to miss this event, especially if you live in the area. I know people are challenged right now, but this is Saturday, October 12th. Mm-hmm. So in a couple of weeks, 2 weeks from Saturday, right?
That's right. In a couple of weeks. And listen, if anybody has any problems, please go on. This flyer will be available on Ann's
it's on my Telegram channel right now, but you can just go to Conservative Watch.
ConservativeWatchUSA.com.
ConservativeWatchUSA.com, right there.
Every single region has a captain, so to speak.
Yep.
And then you can contact that person, or you can just come on your own.
Yeah,
but if you need help, my number is on there. Call me. We have got truckers and bikers and just good old American patriots all over the state. And they're waiting. And they said, and I have groups of them all over the state. This is the only statewide event being held for President Trump prior to this election. Republican Party of Florida is not doing it, and there is no other organization that does what Conservative Watch USA does.
Yeah.
None of them do statewide.
Annie, you've been at it a long time, and for that, I'm very grateful. Thank you for your dedication to our country, to President Trump, to being a friend to many, including myself. And, we've all got a lot to be grateful for, and our Lord and Savior definitely wants us to remember to thank him. So we thank him as well. First and foremost, but at the main, right now, it's just good to know that there's people like you out there still circulating to try to keep the troops motivated, rallied, because some of us are sitting there going, wow, what is happening? Well, there's a lot happening, and we've got to stay on top of it because, we've got this happening.
Absolutely.
Right here. We've got a potential longshoreman strike coming up, right? This is not good news.
Oh.
You've got ports up and down the East Coast, all the way to Texas, that are going to go on strike tonight. And like I've been telling everybody, make sure this is part of your October surprise, October 1st, right? There'll be no food, no no gasoline, a whole bunch of stuff is going to collapse within 3 days because we just don't have, you know, we don't have a deep bench when it comes to our supplies. Our supply chain is literally 3 days from falling apart, and it's going to fall apart quickly if these guys go on strike. So God bless you, Annie. Thank you so much.
Keep praying. I just ask everyone to keep praying for our nation, keep praying for our president, for the protection of his life and his family's life, all of us. But most importantly is have that conversation with our Savior, Jesus Christ. In Jesus' name we pray. God bless.
Thanks, Annie. All right. Okay, boy, she's a stalwart in this community. She's been around a long time, been extremely loyal to President Trump from day one. They did business together in real estate years ago. She's known him, a frequent guest over at Mar-a-Lago, and she knows everybody, and she's a powerhouse. Some people just need to stay out of her way when she's in the mode, because when she's working, she's there to get stuff done. She's not there to glad hand everybody. She's on a mission. Once she gets the mission accomplished, she's your best ally. But in the meantime, if she's got to go from here to there, make sure you're either going with her or get out of her way. That's what I know and love about Annie Marie Deglado. All right, I'm going to take a quick commercial break. I'm going to check out and see if our next guest is up, ready to go. He's been around flying in North Carolina. He has been making deliveries, picking things up, trying to get supplies moved around because, they're getting a taste of what the supply chain crisis is going to be like for the rest of us, except that they get the added benefit of just devastation on top of it all. People are currently dying because they have no food, they have no water, and we all know you can only go so far without water. My good buddy Michael Yon did a fast that lasted 42 or 3 days, and he just basically lived on coffee and water. He did not eat. He broke that fast with a steak dinner. I'll be right back after this break.